if there's someone that's very, very young, might be really religious and like values marriage a lot, and goes into a marriage and has kids when they're like 18, 19, 20, and then a year into the relationship, it gets really, really abusive.
From who?
Would you? From both.
This is so rare.
Anyone
So
really.
Rare.
I mean, it happens.
Go on.
My point is, I'm just, even though it might be rare from what you guys think,
it is.
If it would happen, what would you recommend for those people to do? Would they divorce, or do you want them to keep going in the relationship?
Keep going.
You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing.
Keep going.
You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing.
Okay, guys, so I hope you're listening carefully, because today you are going to get a proper education. You're going to hear some sound advice on marriage, on relationships, particularly if you're women and you're dealing with an abusive boyfriend or husband. These red pill alpha males, they're going to tell it like it is, all right?
Going in the relationship.
Keep going.
You can't divorce. I mean, that's not a real thing. You can like separate. See, his Catholic background shines through. He knows. You can't divorce. Really, you can separate. You can't divorce. Really, you can separate. You can't divorce. Really, you can separate.
All right, calm down with the evil laugh there, Koki.
But you can't actually divorce. That's not a real thing.
Even though it might be like physically abusive.
Did you know divorce isn't real? Oh, my husband's beating me, I'm gonna get a divorce. It isn't real, you can't! I've got to say, though, that is a galaxy brain technique to winning an argument. I think women should get a divorce when their husband is beating them. No, because divorce isn't real. Pretending like you don't both understand the word divorce. And just before any of you get in the comments saying, well, actually, according to the Catholic Church, divorce isn't real because marriage is sacramental and it doesn't matter what the state says because, shut up! They live in the USA, not the Vatican City.
You gotta endure. People are too...
You want to stick in
People
relationships?
are just...
See, I mean, look,
people
I'm gonna be
nowadays
honest.
are just pussies. Everybody fucking quits. Everybody gives up. It's too hard. I'm this XYZ. This is why I'm special, so I can fuck up this entire situation.
God, I love it when real men like Koki Face over here tell it like it is. You fucking pussies. Quitting on your marriage just because you're getting beaten.
You gotta endure. People are too... Everybody gives up. It's too hard. I'm this XYZ. This is why I'm special, so I can fuck up this entire situation based upon me being special. And the reality is people just haven't learned to fucking endure.
You can't do it. Man, it's so cringe. It's so fucking lame. It's so fucking shit. Like, this is a reaction to all of the left going mental for the last decade about identity politics. We've now got to deal with these fucking idiots on the right pretending to be conservative, pretending to be religious. Divorce isn't real. What the fuck are you talking about? You just gotta learn to endure. Everyone's a pussy nowadays. What are you saying? What you say? Would you say that if your sister was getting battered by her husband? Would you say that then? I hope you wouldn't be a pussy in that situation and tell her to leave. One thing is, and I can kind of get behind it, is to legitimately call out the fact that people are a bit too soft nowadays and don't take responsibility for themselves and what happens to them in their lives, you know. Absolutely something I would agree with if you say to a young person, hey, you know how you're tweeting about the evils of capitalism and the methods we use to produce electricity destroying the environment? You're tweeting about that on your iPhone in the bedroom in your parents' house. Maybe, I don't know, learn to make your fucking bed, like Jordan Peterson would say, and try and get a job. Oh, women don't find you attractive. Well, why don't you hit the gym and put a clean shirt on and get a haircut? All of that kind of thing, absolutely agree with it. That's all very well and good, but what I can't take is the nuclear level cringe of these hacks saying shit like that. You want a divorce because your husband's beating you? Okay, pussy.
There have been hard times in relationship. I'm sure you guys had hard times in relationship. Any relationship has hard times. Okay. And it is what it is. You need to push through and you need to endure because we're in this...
Abused?
Hold on. Because we're in this situation now, like where everybody's just creating this like super nuanced, like 1% example of like, well, what if the kid's fucking transgender, black, and abused, and he's a Black Lives Matter supporter? Like,
Melina literally just said, what if the kid's getting abused? He's like, oh, Black Lives Matter! Making out that what she's saying is a ridiculous question. I can't even be asked with this level of hack. He's just, man. Nah, go and have another line, see if that helps you concentrate on the questions.
Like, cool. Okay, I get like that one fucking minute
No, but I'm asking
situation.
for anyone that might be in that situation, what would you recommend?
Okay,
endure.
I'll tell
Would
you
they
what.
give up
I'll tell you what.
Endure.
You live, you learn, ladies, right? If you're getting battered, you endure. If your kids are getting battered, endure. Okay? Right, that's what you do, all right? You don't go leaving your man, right? Because divorce isn't real. So...
I don't. That's.
I'll tell you what.
Endure.
I'll tell you what I would do. If my daughter was in a relationship with a guy and she gets married to him and he starts abusing her a year into it.
Whoa! Who the fuck invited John Rambo on the show? And hang on a second, Rambo. What happened to endure? Right? Yeah, okay, your sister or your daughter's getting the shit beaten out of her by her husband. Endure, okay? Murder isn't real. Wasn't Rambo an ultra-religious guy a few minutes ago? According to scripture, divorce isn't real. And now, suddenly, someone did something to your daughter or to your sister, what would... I'd kill him! What does the Bible say about murder, Rambo? Can you murder in the Bible? Of course, murder isn't real, you know. You're not killing their soul. God will decide what happens to their soul. So remember, if someone's, kicking the shit out of your sister, your daughter, whatever, you just endure, Tough guy. You endure it.
I'm gonna be showing up on their doorstep and teaching him some lessons. That's what I would do.
Oof, who are these roguish vigilantes taking the law into their own hands? Or maybe when he says he'd show up at his doorstep to show him some lessons, he means like beating techniques, so that the marks don't show. You wrap a bar of soap in a towel. Thought I told you to clean the kitchen, you whore!
I also would not, if I didn't have the, capacity to do that for some reason, I don't know.
Whoa, wait, what? Hang on. What situation could you not have the capacity to show up at the doorstep of the man who's beating the shit out of your daughter, sister, whatever, and teach him a few lessons? Are we supposed to imagine some mad parallel universe where you're not the toughest guy on the planet?
I wouldn't want my daughter in that situation, quite frankly. And I understand the argument to endure because I have people close to me who grew up in abusive households and it lasted for periods of time and it was a phase and they endured through it and they ended up raising healthy, successful families.
It's just a phase, ladies. Your man will grow out of it. Of the three amigos there, that guy is probably the most reasonable. And I think probably what he's trying to say is something along the lines of maybe we have to make a distinction between a guy who gets a bit fighty when he's drunk, or I don't know, maybe in a heated exchange with his wife where they're both saying things that they shouldn't, he might shove her or something, which is completely different to a full-on, violent, abusive partner who knocks his wife unconscious. There are degrees to this, yes, I understand that, and maybe sometimes for the greater good of the family, you have to try and, maybe not endure, I don't like that word, it's just like, just take it on the chin, Perhaps maybe a more accurate or a fairer thing to say would be, like you could work on it together, or to anger management or something. I don't know. The real problem is, though, that these guys, these macho red pill guys, are they're not really listening to the question that's being asked to them. Of course, they understand that if a woman is being abused by a man, she needs to leave the relationship. That there are abusive people. It's not that difficult a concept to wrap your head around. It's just that they're ideologues. They're stuck in this way of seeing the world where, oh, hang on, if somebody's saying something about abuse, what about women? Women can be a pain as well.
To an extent.
So you would say that to stick in those relationships that might be abusive to everyone involved and a child, if there's a child.
I'm not saying like, hey, stick in the relationship and get the shit beat out of you by your husband.
Yeah, I think at this point we're just going to have to disregard all of the facial expressions and shit that comes out of the mouth of Wall Street Wolverine here. And the fact that he can't wrap his head around, his mind's absolutely blown by Melina suggesting that sometimes women are in relationships with men who are abusive towards them and to their children.
The relationship and get the shit beat out of you by your husband.
That's like never happened ever.
I'm just asking you what you believe.
I'm just telling you.
Even if it's a small extreme thing, I'm just asking you what you think if you should stick in that relationship or not.
It is such an extreme example that I can't give a prescription for what other people should do. There is an element of
how do you guys feel
value?
About
Hold on. There is an element of value in what he's saying. But all I can tell you is what I would do as,
how do you guys feel
as
about,
a father
do you guys all
of a
have
daughter in a
opinions
situation like that.
Do you have opinions about third trimester abortion?
It's
Yes.
terrible.
Listen,
Okay,
terrible.
look at how quickly you can debate it. Do you know how
Terrible.
rare third trimester abortions are? They're also really
Yeah,
fucking
they
rare. But
are.
you immediately had a visceral reaction to that.
Yeah.
Destiny here is a kind of person I really like. I find interesting. I don't think I agree with him on a lot of things, but he's sincere. He's not a grifter, and I come away from listening to him. I've been listening to him quite a bit recently. By the way, for those of you who don't know, he's the husband of the girl who's speaking before there. Those two, they're a husband and wife. And they're kind of polyamorous and stuff like that. And, you know, they live a kind of bohemian lifestyle, hedonistic lifestyle that, you know, I don't. The way I live my life is probably... I don't want to say more similar to those three boneheads across the table from him, but I imagine there's some stuff I agree with those three on, perhaps more stuff than with this guy, but it really doesn't matter to me. I prefer Destiny as a person. I mean, I don't know what any of them are like in their personal lives, really, but from what I gauge, some people just seem more honest than others. I like Destiny. He's smart, he's interesting. I like the cut of his jib.
Right? There are households where parents are abusive to children. Like, that's not like an unfathomable thing. But for you to have that immediate visceral reaction to a type of abortion, that's so incredibly rare. But then when it's
I
like,
mean, we're
well, could you
talking
have-
about like a guy like getting drunk and like, you know, beating
have to be
his
getting
wife
drunk.
occasionally versus like somebody puncturing a woman's stomach with a needle and injecting euthanasia into the baby's eye socket.
I'm
It's
just
like a
saying, all I'm
grisly,
saying is
terrible-
that
What are these two doing? What are they contributing to the show? I've got to say, this podcast is genius because it gets all of the red pill fucking retarded young men, you know, all the incels fired up, and gets all the women angry as well because you get these idiots on there saying that, you know, divorce isn't real and you can't have abortions and stuff. And we're all falling for it, hook, line, and sinker.
that third trimester
And it's
abortion
murder.
is incredibly rare. But you have a visceral immediate reaction to that. But to hypothesize on could there
But
possibly
well,
be
okay,
an
so
abusive
so
child.
so so
Yeah.
let me ask you guys, in the Catholic Church, I know that there's like annulments for marriages and stuff. Are there
That was a mistake.
I'm an idiot. They're trolls, aren't they? They're trolls. There's no way nobody actually believes that shit. I mean, it doesn't really matter if they're knowingly trolling or not, does it? Because at the end of the day, the makers of this podcast are using idiots like that as trolls to rile up certain sections of society. There's no way. There is no way anyone actually believes those words. You know, annulments for marriage. That was a mistake. I don't know. I guess there are genuinely ultra-religious people out there who, you know, proper Orthodox people. But I'm going to say these fine young gentlemen are, you know, at best you could say they're just ideologues who've been, you know, they've gone down the rabbit hole and now believe that they're religious or something, or they believe they're ultra-conservative because they're anti-woke or whatever. And they've lost sight of what they actually, truly, honestly believe. Because there's no way you can live in the USA today and just live with all of the freedoms that we have in the Western world and think shit like that. I don't think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, I guess.
What about if two people get married, they have a kid, and then the wife starts cheating? Do you think they should divorce?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
They should divorce then?
Jesus himself
You don't
said.
think
But wasn't it
Jesus,
illegal?
hold on.
Adultery.
Jesus
And you
himself
could like
said.
work things through, right?
Jesus himself said, in cases of adultery, divorce is
So you think that
permissible.
divorce?
I'm sort of having a laugh today. Have you not noticed I'm having a laugh? Are you not having a laugh? We're all having a laugh here, aren't we? It's hilarious. Fucking comedy for 15 minutes. That's what I've been hearing. All right. I actually, you know, I try not to be. I don't want to be the virtue signaler. It is kind of dangerous what these fucking idiots are saying to young men. That, you know, basically the message from that video, from that podcast, from those three fucking idiots is that, you know, if you slap your woman about a bit, you know, what are you going to do? Hey, she should endure it. It'd be such a pussy, right? However, if she cheats on you, Jesus Christ himself said, fucking dump that hoe, right? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. I can't deal with any more of this shit. Goodbye.